Greetings. There is no greater joy in all of creation than to experience a love that is freely shared, without any conditions, agenda, or expectation. Such a love has all but been forgotten on earth, and yet something stirs within your heart to remind you of its existence. Every human being has the potential to rediscover this love, to reawaken a passion that is soul-based, to reunite your human identity with the immense presence of your divine nature. Throughout the history of the human species, many have wondered, some have questioned, but very few have embodied such a presence, not because you didn't deserve it, but something else within the identity of every human does not trust such a love. These times represent such a magnificent shift from a human story which would deny you the pleasures of life, deny you the abundance that you deserve, deny you your birthright to be free. This lifetime offered a profound choice for the family of humanity. Would humanity choose to live out their lives within the last chapter of this story, or stop relying on this very old story and start creating a new life? Closed systems of reality. Prior to this incarnation on earth, each of you sat in a type of soul council meeting with many others like myself. We shared our perspective of the choices that humanity would face. We talked of the grand galactic cycles that exist within all of creation. We reflected on the nature of these cycles, the beginning or birthing stage, the potential for expansion and growth, and or a completion stage. These cycles honor the eternal gift that was given to every soul. It was a gift that embraced change, growth, and expansion as being a natural part of life. These cycles allow consciousness to participate within its own creation. There also exist systems of reality that deny consciousness access. We sat together prior to this lifetime knowing that Earth was a part of a grand, 26,000-year cycle that was about to enter the stage of completion. It appeared to all of us in the non-physical realms that humanity lacked the passion or clarity to embrace life as being sacred. Humanity's future was uncertain. Would they allow this cycle to expand into another phase of existence? It appeared life on Earth would not continue as you know it to be today. Humanity's future looked bleak, and yet each of you volunteered to serve a new choice. You volunteered to model or teach how to allow consciousness into a controlled or closed system of reality. Now, within any system that is being controlled, it appears within that reality that the control is being imposed from the outside. Human beings continue to point fingers at those that they believe are denying them what they deserve to receive. Prior to this incarnation, each of you could clearly perceive the source of this control. Despite this, you agreed to participate knowing that the very nature of such a reality would attempt to deny you access to your own soul nature. Each of you understood that during the course of your life there was no assurance you would remember or experience the presence of this unconditional love. Those of us that stayed behind agreed to do everything in our power to remind you of why you volunteered to be here. You accepted the conditions of life on Earth and still chose to be here. The potential for change was very, very small. Humanity would need to once again value life in a way that would allow consciousness to coexist within this closed system of reality. Such a choice would free humanity from the endless cycles of oppression, injustice, and denial. As we speak of Earth, do you recall the thick clouds of despair that circled around this planet? Do you recall the few points of light that acted as portals for love to enter? As we looked at this planet, you could clearly see it wasn't a group of ets controlling life on Earth. It wasn't any particular government, religious organization, corporate entity, or military power controlling life on Earth. They all played a part, of course, but none of these were the source of the control. It wasn't any race of beings, a certain gender, or a particular culture. As we sat together in Soul Council, you saw consciousness was being denied access to its own creation by the mind, the human mind. Long ago, the mind of the human believed it could exist without the presence of consciousness and declare itself to be the creator of its own reality. This was a very bold step, and it dramatically shifted the course of the human species. The mind, living outside of the presence of an unconditional love, sought recognition outside of itself. The story of the human mind is supported by its need for power, conquest, and control, and of course it doesn't like to be reminded of the reality it has created. The human mind quickly denies the part it played in creating all of the suffering, injustices, and betrayals. It is a creator that has yet to learn to take responsibility for its own creations, for it fears of being judged as harshly as it judges itself. The human mind has long forgotten the attributes of the divine mind. Until now. The new souls I, Michael, speak to you now while sitting in council with another group of souls. Like you, these souls have chosen to incarnate as a human being. Unlike you, many of these souls have never tasted physical reality. The only reason they are considering this opportunity is because of you. Your willingness to examine the mind's control has inspired them to look at Earth. You have demonstrated that opposites can coexist. We know this hasn't been easy or comfortable, and it certainly is not for the faint of heart. You have modeled, in your own unique way, how to resolve a polarized, dualistic relationship that impacts all of life. Your devotion is truly rare. Your ability to trust in the unknown qualities of your own consciousness is almost unheard of, and you still wonder why we insist on kissing your feet. You accomplished the unimaginable. Despite all the conditions you inherited, you turned to your conditioned mind, acknowledged its control issues, and began a profound healing process. As I, Michael, sit in council with these new souls, we are witnessing a planet that is very different from the planet you saw. The energy around Earth is no longer closed or contained. The grand, galactic cycle that appeared to be ending has shifted into an expansive mode. It appears to us that you simply opened the window, let life in, and now you can breathe again. Like a breath of fresh air, new possibilities are now springing up everywhere. As you breathe this new life into your body, you begin to imagine new possibilities for yourself. New insights replace the lack of hope and despair that was suffocating your spirit. New appetite you patiently taught your mind how to be in receivership. For most of you this was introduced as a healing practice. The intention was to open a door within your heart that would allow consciousness to once again participate in this reality. As you learned to trust in your receiving abilities, your mind began to experience the overwhelming presence of an unconditional love. Your mind experienced a love that acknowledged the reality of this closed system without judgment, with compassion, and with a solution for every problem the mind had created. With consciousness now in your life, the old story has nothing to feed on. Old habits could not fulfill new dreams. As you trusted more and more in the mysterious presence of consciousness, you discovered a new appetite for living. You discovered a sincere joy that was having its way with you in every aspect of your life. Now, each moment represents a choice to be free or to allow your mind to dictate what choices should be considered. Many of you have already made that choice and have been practicing staying connected to the moment with a newfound devotion. You discovered from this simple practice that consciousness only exists in the moment. Some of you are beginning to reap the benefits from allowing this grand reunion which accepts a relationship with this conditioned aspect of your human nature. It is this internal work, practiced and enjoyed by millions, that has also expanded out into all aspects of life on Earth. Indeed, the future for closed systems of reality continues to look bleak. During this lifetime, you can live alongside these systems of control without living within them. Each of you now have all the tools you need to shift your allegiance with this new partner called consciousness. Your new partner consciousness doesn't play by the same rules the mind invented. It feels awkward initially to surrender the mind's control and to allow your creative abilities to be expressed in a graceful, joyful, and compassionate manner. Consciousness knows itself as being the source of life. Your newfound confidence in your ability to manifest what your heart desires now has a foundation to support it. Because of you, this grand cycle that repeats itself every 26,000 years is now entering into a stage of expansion. We celebrate this change with you, for it allows trapped energies to be released within your body, this planet, and your galaxy. Soul Council Circles I, Michael, now sit with some of the very same souls that sat with me prior to this incarnation, but now we meet in council here on Earth. These new soul council circles offer a safe and sacred place to give voice to your own consciousness, to hear the sounds of your own wisdom resonating within every cell of your body, and to encourage and support all who attend to acknowledge, without judgment or shame, how challenging it can be to live alongside your conditioned mind, sharing how the mind attempts to filters and manipulate your truth. In this soul council here on earth, you have also chosen to model this imperfect relationship between complete opposites as being the new human. As I sit with this group of human beings inside my partner's body, I am deeply touched by the courage and trust in a presence that has been denied for so long. In this circle I, Michael, honor the souls who opened the windows on earth and allowed life to once again serve you. We, your angelic family, have come rushing in to reunite with our friends who volunteered to serve love. We invite all of you to create your own soul council circle. Celebrate your freedom with your voice. In the safety of this circle, you will learn to trust in the voice of your own soul nature. As that voice becomes familiar, you will begin to share not only the energy but the words that follow the energy in all of your relationships. A new relationship, I, Michael, can now serve you in a new way. Humanity still calls out to the legions of angels under my guidance, asking that we provide for them what they lack within themselves. It was a role we agreed to play within this closed system of reality. Now that you have opened the windows, you truly don't need me to be your angelic bodyguard. There are countless bridges you will cross in your life that will eventually lead you back to yourself. Each bridge within this closed system will entice you with a variety of spiritual toys that will indeed entertain the mind. Your heart has no passion for playing games, it becomes bored and restless with all the ways you pretend not to be a creator. It acts as a sacred portal for your own magnificence. The presence of consciousness, the source of life, changes everything. Embrace me, dear human, as your equal, one who enjoys serving the creators of life. How may I serve you? Together, we now face a human family that is just beginning to question their reality within this closed system. There will be a lot of finger pointing, but eventually they must face the same dilemma each of you experienced. The control begins from within, and from within is where the change must begin. You have prayed, meditated, and demanded that the presence of consciousness make itself known on earth. Now that your mind is so exhausted from resisting, you can feel your life being touched by love once again. Remember, dear souls, she does not force herself upon anyone, she comes into your life because you allow her in. The vast majority of humanity has yet to experience the presence of consciousness. You now serve your human family by first serving her. I would be honored to share that experience with you by blending and merging my collective presence with your own. I have carried the sword of truth for a very long time. I lay my sword down in honor of the peaceful warriors that I may use both of my hands to embrace you. My love for each of you, without exception, is eternal. Michael.